we discussed the nature of production design and how a designer used the elements of visual design to put the dramatic action of a play production into its proper context. In this section, we will look specifically at the process of scenic design and consider the basic techniques and medium used to create an effective set design. We will begin by looking at the process that a set designer or scenic designer goes through in order to create a set design. The scenic designer's goal is to devise, design, and execute the proper locale or scenic background for a play production. The set that he constructs may represent a realistic locale or suggest a location. It may be realistic or theatrical in nature. The designer's final design rests on the needs of the production as outlined by the play's director in his directorial concept. Once a designer receives an assignment for a particular play production, he begins by going through a pre-design process. This pre-design process almost always begins with the scenic designer's reading of the script. Because the ultimate concept of a play rests with the director, the scenic designer rarely formulates specific, complete, and finished ideas for a set from his initial reading. Many designers go through a process referred to as thinking with a pencil. The process of thinking with a pencil involves a designer reading a play while brainstorming with basic visual ideas that spring from that reading. These jottings rarely have anything to do with a traditional set design, but are abstract visual reactions to the designer's experience from the reading of the play. These initial visual ideas are the result of creative brainstorming that may or may not somehow be incorporated in the final set design. Thinking with the pencil allows the designer to respond spontaneously and creatively to the play with complete freedom. After the director introduces the concept of the play to the creative team, the scenic designer will be able to incorporate this initial brainstorming into the actual design itself. This is because the ideas are abstractions based on the designer's instincts. After the initial reading of the play, the director will call together his team of designers to discuss his ideas about how the play will be presented to an audience. This happens in the initial, all-important production meeting. Many of the members of the production team are present at this meeting, including the set designer, lighting designer, costume designer, properties designer, as well as the stage manager and other production assistants. It is at this meeting that the director shares his concept of the play production. What makes up the directorial concept of a play production? The directorial concept of a play is the overall idea and ideas that will govern the putting together of the play production. The directorial concept includes such information as, in what style will the play be produced? Will the play be rendered realistically or theatrically? If realistically, how will the designers create this illusion? If theatrically, how will the production depart from our notion of human experience to create its effect? There will also include a discussion of specific style considerations, such as, in what time period will the play be set? On the other hand, the play production may defy a specific period and actually blend two or more time periods together. Will the action be presented in a light-hearted or dramatically heavy manner? Some directors will use a metaphor as a guide. They may suggest the play will have the feeling of sandpaper or water. Or the director may tell the designer that he wants the production to have the feeling of glass. Some visual designers respond well to this abstract way of working. The production meeting is also a time for the creative team to get down to the real-world considerations of what kind of budget they are working with. How will they achieve the directorial concept with the funds that are available to them? They also consider timetables. What deadlines are necessary to set down in order for the play to come together effectively by opening night? Once the important decisions of the production meeting have been shared, It is at this time that the set designer will begin to incorporate his ideas from the thinking with a pencil process into the directorial concept. First, the designer will do research into the time period that the director has laid down for the play production. Often, a scenic designer will research the architecture of the period and determine what aspects of that period will be most conducive to the style of the directorial concept. He will often begin by putting together several thumbnail sketches of a prospective set design. A thumbnail sketch is a quick, simple outline of a setting that will communicate basic ideas of a potential set to the director. It may include notes about the details that would be in the finished design but are not apparent in the thumbnail sketch. The thumbnail sketches are rough and simple and will allow the designer to put together several ideas without taking up too much time. These rough drawings are not intended to be design drawings, but artifacts to allow a designer and director to communicate visually about the prospective scenic design. After the thumbnail sketches have been discussed and the director has made suggestions for changes, the set designer may then go into the actual design process. This process we will discuss in our next section. For now, go to your task for this section, and we'll see you next time.